Ow. 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 That looked like it hurt. Okay, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. That was fake. It was actually this very weird gag gift that I found where you pop pimples out of this piece of rubber, and they say it's for the ability to calm yourself because some people find popping pimples calming. But I am actually going to show you a real pimple being popped, so I am warning you now. If you are not ready for a real, genuine, very large, very juicy cyst to be popped, you might want to stop the video now. But here it goes, me popping a very large cyst.
Okay, did it explode?
Yes.
I know, that was a serious pop, and I tell you guys pretty often not to pop your pimples, but especially back when I had my most severe acne, I could not help it. I couldn't keep my hands off my face. My entire life of having acne up to a certain point, anytime I had a pimple, even if it was small, a blackhead, anything, I'd be digging at it super hard. And I will also admit that I was doing it with my bare fingers. I was not washing my hands before I did it, and I would use my fingernails to pinch it just to make sure I could get it to pop. I was doing all the things that were wrong, but I wanted to make this video as an example to kind of roast myself a little bit and show you that pimple being popped. Because when you pop a big pimple, even if you get all that juice out and it feels very satisfying, because I know that's why this product has sold millions. It's very satisfying to pop a pimple, but see, even that was satisfying right there. See, I got a good one. But you are going to damage your face, especially if you are digging deep into it. So this is a PSA that if you are someone who's addicted to popping pimples, now is your wake-up call to change that. And I'm gonna tell you why. Now, what happens when you pop a pimple? And believe me, like I just showed you, I have experience. I've done it hundreds of times. And so I know exactly what happens personally from my experience, but also here's what happens scientifically. If you think of a cyst or just a pimple as kind of like a pocket, right? Because it is a follicle, right? And that follicle or that pore gets clogged, and that's why it swells up and you get that white head, you get that big pressurized pimple, that spot, that cyst. And so in your brain, you go, I wanna pop it, get all that goo out. But imagine this pocket, right? You cannot get your fingers under the very bottom of the pocket. It's never gonna happen. You're always going to be pinching, and there's gonna be a pinch point somewhere in the middle. And so what happens is you'll pop it, the top will pop, but if you are having to really push and really dig and really try, the bottom will pop too. Because think about it, that whole little follicle, that pore, that sac is the same thickness around the entire thing. You just can't see the bottom. So when you press and you finally get the top to pop, I guarantee you the bottom has popped too. And that's when it will swell and become even bigger, and it'll take even longer to go away. So as an example, I'm gonna show you on this little block here, as I'm pushing, really trying to push hard, I have to dig and pinch. And that's going to, like I said, go about halfway and you'll get that goo out, but you won't get the whole thing out. And so in addition to this making the actual pimple or cyst take way longer to repair because it gets inflamed, it possibly is going to swell up even more. It's just gonna take, for me, I would have cysts that would last months. Like literally, I made a video recently where I showed it took like 3 or 4 months for one of my cysts to go away. In addition to that, you're also going to definitely have more scarring. The harder you have to push, the more scarring. The bigger the pimple or cyst, the more scarring. And that's really just because putting all that pressure, putting all of that squeezing into your soft, sensitive skin cells is going to damage them over time, especially as you do it again and again, because each pimple, especially the smaller ones, might leave a small mark. But if you do this hundreds and hundreds of times, over time, those little pock marks, those little ice pick scars, maybe they're boxcar scars, maybe you get lucky and they're rolling scars, they add up and accumulate, and they make it so that at first you're not noticing, but eventually, whoa, That is a lot of scarring. The healing process when you pop a pimple, think about the difference between tearing something and surgically cutting something, right? When you tear skin, it always has a much bigger scar on your body, right? And your face is no different. When you're popping, you are definitely ripping. It's an uneven rip, an uneven tear that's happening at a very small level. And when it heals, it's gonna be more noticeable. You're either gonna have more scar tissue there or you're gonna have an indentation. Well, okay, Brian, but what do I do when I have a big pimple or big cyst on my face? I would say that there are two options. One, if it's possible and if your genetics really do favor you, you should just not touch it. After about 3 or 4 days, that pimple will harden up. It'll fall out automatically, whether you're sleeping or in the shower, or it will just basically be reabsorbed and it'll go away naturally. That is the most ideal situation where you have the least scarring. Some people, I know, I've seen it in the comments, that does not work. So, option 2, you are going to properly drain your pimple, which involves a few simple steps. One, you're gonna want to warm up your skin, so probably with a warm towel that's very clean, hold it on the area, that way the skin softens up. The pus will come to the surface, it'll be a lot easier, more malleable, it won't be as solid. Then you are going to want to take a very clean lance. You can get these on Amazon. You could technically use like a sewing needle or something like that. You just want to make absolutely sure that it's disinfected so that it doesn't have any bacteria that you are spreading on your face, and you're going to lance it. That way there is a hole for that sebum fluid to come out. That way you don't have to push until it pops. You are making that surgical cut instead of a tear. And finally, you are either going to put on some gloves or you're going to very well disinfect your hands, and then not pushing and going crazy, but just assisting that fluid to come out of that lance hole. If it doesn't come out, then that's it. Stop. It's not ready. Especially blind pimples, blind cysts, the ones that are super deep, you feel like you might be able to push enough to get the pimple out. It's not gonna happen. So if it doesn't automatically just come tumbling out, then you should stop right there. And that's pretty much that. I was looking at some old clips of me popping pimples and I just felt like I wish I would have seen this video back then so I could understand a little bit of the science, understand why I was hurting myself more than helping myself. And I felt like maybe some of you probably needed to hear this as well. If you are somebody who has suffered acne scarring because you've popped your pimples in the past, like me, then you are probably going to want to do something about it. That's what I have done. For the last 2 years, I've used this brand called Banish. Absolutely fire products. Their entire line is super effective. They use ingredients like vitamin C and glycolic acid, which are both scientifically proven to improve your cell turnover rate, which is going to help improve the acne scarring, but also your elastin and collagen regrowth, which again helps not only with the scarring, but also your skin texture. A lot of people, you'll see their skin is like glowing, and that's definitely because they're taking care of their skin with these ingredients. Maybe also a retinoid. If you haven't seen my video about retinoids, definitely look up my video, adapalene gel. It's really, really good. And of course, using a good moisturizer and a good sunblock, all of those things in combination are kind of like your skin's, like your little army, like your little defense. You definitely want to be using something. You don't want to just be going through life and not taking care of your skin, because as you get older, you'll pay the price for that because you should have been putting in a little bit of self-care and some effort in. So anyways, if you guys want to check out those products, you can use the link Banish Brian and discount code Brian5, get you $5 off. Everything is small batch made, which means that if you order it, you're getting it within 7 days of them actually making and bottling the product. It's also all vegan and all cruelty free. Super fire products. Check them out. All right, definitely used a little bit of shock value for this video today. Sometimes I gotta do it. Gotta switch it up a little bit. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know if you have popped your pimples in the past or if you still struggle with popping your pimples today in the comments below. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you beautiful, amazing, wonderful people in the very next video. Peace.